Hi, and welcome back to Animals 2 by 2. Today is day 5 of our week-long lesson on goldfish and guppies. All right, remember, the objective of this week and for these lessons is that you should be able to identify that fish have identifiable structures. You should be able to identify that fish have basic needs, know that fish can change their environment, that fish behavior is influenced by conditions in the environment. You should be able to know that each kind of fish is unique. It has a unique structure and behavior, that there are different kinds of fish that have similar structures and behaviors, that you can identify all animals deserve respect and gentle care. You should be able to know that animals come in many sizes and live in many different places. You should recognize that you can learn about animals by looking at them closely. I'm hoping that you're developing a growing curiosity and interest for the living world around you. You should be making observations of the natural world and know that there are descriptors collecting using your 5 senses. Okay, so today all you're going to need is just some pencils or crayons, markers or pens if you would like, some paper to take notes and draw pictures, and of course our book 2 by 2. So go ahead and get out that book that you received last week. Remember, this is going to be this book is going to be used for our month-long study on different animals, going 2 by 2. So today we're going to take a look at this book. Title of the book is Animals 2 by 2. Go ahead and open and take a look at page 3. Learning about animals. Animals come in many sizes. Animals live in many places. You can learn about animals by looking at them closely. Look at him staring down. He's using his sense of sight, looking at that bunny, his sense of touch, grabbing a hold of that soft fur, and I bet he could smell him as well. Okay, so we're going to turn on over to page 4. Goldfish and guppies. Where do you find fish? Some fish live in fresh water. Some fish live in salt water. Fish find food in water. Look at that water. Do you think that it's fresh water or salt water? Think about the things that we've learned talking about goldfish this week. You're right. Fish have eyes, scales, a mouth, and fins. Do you see them? Think back to where you drew that picture of a goldfish and all of its different parts. The tail is at the end, and this one has a very pretty yellow and black tail. Then you have a fin on the top, scales going down its body. I see its eyes, its mouth. Oh, I can even see its gills. Can you? Okay, so we're going to turn over to page 6. Fish have gills too. All fish breathe through gills. Look at that top picture. That's a very interesting type of fish, isn't it? If you look very, very closely, you can see some small gills. But if you look at the fish at the bottom, you can see his more predominantly. You can see the edge of the gills and how they're open, sucking in that water to get the oxygen filtered out. Turn over to page 7. Oh, look at these two fish. How are these fish the same? Well, I guess because they're both fish. They both have eyes. They both have a tail. They both have a mouth. But how are they different? I bet that one's easier for us to find. Let's first look at their structure. The top one is flat so that he can skim across the bottom of the sea floor. But the bottom one is your more typical structure of a fish. Sitting up, swimming through, you can see his sides instead of just his back or the top area. Their colors are aggressively different. The fish on top is a very muted color to blend in with the sea floor and that sand, while the bottom fish has bright, vibrant colors. I bet he's a tropical fish. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the vocabulary that we've learned throughout the week. Goldfish. A small, usually golden yellow or orange fish that's often kept in aquariums or ponds. Guppies. A small tropical fish that's often kept in an aquarium. An aquarium is a tank or a bowl in which fish and other water animals and plants can live. A fin. A thin, flat body part of a fish and certain other water animals in which it's used for swimming or balance. Tail. The rear part of an animal. Gills. An organ, as in a fish's organ, for taking oxygen from water. Behavior. The whole activity of something, especially a living being. Scientists observe the fish's behavior. Identifiable. Capable of being identified, to figure out or show who someone is or what something is. Unique is very unusual. And species, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. A species is the most detailed form of classification of living things. In living things, a species is a group of similar individuals that are able to reproduce. Investigation, goldfish and guppies. Okay, so throughout the week we've looked at goldfish and we've learned that goldfish lay eggs. They prefer cooler water. They have a rounder body shape. Um, their fins are flowy. So if you look at the top fin and those bottom fins, they kind of flow throughout the water. Their tails are longer and wider, and they just have more parts. They have multiple different fins in the bottom and the side and the top. Um, and goldfish are really a popular pet. Okay, then we have our guppies. Our guppies have live babies, so no eggs for them. Tropical fish are They're tropical fish that prefer warmer water. So while the goldfish prefers cooler water, the guppies prefer warmer water, and that doesn't mean it has to be super hot, it just means that it's warmer. Guppies are smaller triangle shaped fins on them. Like if you look at the back of these fish as we're watching them swim by now, it kind of looks like a triangle protruding off the back of their body. They're thinner, and then that's their tails, their simple tails, and then you have their fins that are a little triangle like. They're pretty simple. They're more streamlined than the goldfish, kind of thin. Um, not as, check out that goldfish, not as round as the goldfish. So the guppies are thinner, the goldfish are rounder. Guppies like warm water, goldfish like cooler water. Goldfish have eggs, guppies have babies. And you know what? While there's different subspecies of goldfish, they will all grow way bigger than a guppy. So guppies will tend to be smaller. Goldfish tend to grow larger. Goldfish are generally peaceful fish, but they will definitely eat the guppy fry. That's the babies. And eventually, when they get bigger, they'll eat the adult guppies. That's just how nature works. Bigger fish eat smaller fish. So traditionally, you don't want to put them both in the same tank. If you do have to do that, you're going to want to make sure they have plenty of vegetation and things like that that they can hide behind. Okay, so as we could see, the goldfish and guppies are really similar in a lot of ways, yet they are super different. I'm so glad we had this week together. I hope you learned a lot. Stay tuned for next week where we'll be learning and taking a look into snails. Thanks so much.